Books, as we know them, are dead. AI has disrupted the publishing industry to such a degree that, I'm sorry to say, my friends, books, publishing, all of it, it's all gone. It's never coming back. Now, of course, it's not so dramatic as all that. Books have been around a long time and have survived the rise of radio, film, television, video games, and the internet. They're not going anywhere. But I am suggesting that we do need to shift our mindset from thinking about books for books' sake and switching it to thinking more in terms of intellectual property or IP. I have two reasons why, and after I explain those two reasons, I'll also get into my recommendations for authors going forward into this weird AI-saturated future that we're going into. The first reason that I think we need to think differently is simply because of the rise of AI. AI has already disrupted the industry in a big way, and I was recently at a conference in Author Nation in Vegas this last November, which is the largest self-publishing conference out there, and I went to see a talk by Joanna Penn, who you may know from the Creative Penn podcast. She's one of the most respected voices in the self-publishing industry, and she's said something that I thought was really interesting. She said, the ability to write words is no longer special. Your ability to create lots of books is no longer special. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what she said. And I really agree with that. There used to be a time when people could go and write 12 books a year. These powerhouse authors in the self-publishing space were writing like crazy amounts of books every month. And they were almost sort of like idolized as this paragon of what a self-publisher could do if you really apply yourself and be productive and, once you've gone full time, all of this stuff. But that was really hard to do back then, and only a very select few were able to do it successfully without also hiring ghostwriters and others to help out. But now 12 books a year is kind of nothing. A lot of people are doing 12 books a year, and if you're using AI, you can easily hit that number every year. So the ability to quickly meet the demands of readers and publish books quickly is no longer special. So I personally disagree with all of the people that out there that say you should just publish more books because of AI. It's not about doing more. It's about doing things smarter. Which leads me to the second reason why I think we should change our mindset. And this comes from Sean Platt. I had the opportunity to meet Sean recently, again, at Author Nation. And as a side note, Write, Publish, Repeat, which is a book that he co-wrote, was actually the first book on self-publishing that I ever read way back like 8 years ago. And it was kind of a surreal moment when I actually got to meet him, and he told me that he actually follows this channel. So hello, Sean, if you're watching. But one thing that he told me that I found really interesting is that they're switching in his company from being a book / publishing focused company to being a company that focuses on IP or intellectual property. And what he meant by that, I think, is that they are trying to look at their company not just as a publishing company that sells books and books are the primary means of profit in their industry, but actually looking at it differently in terms of intellectual property and shopping those book ideas around, using them as proof of concept for something even bigger like film or television rights. Now, for most of us, film and television might seem a little bit out of reach, but this is one of those areas where it's actually probably not as big of a issue as you might think. A lot of it comes down to who you know. For instance, off the top of my head, I can think of at least 4 people that I know of that I've met in networking events and conferences like Author Nation, who I know for a fact have contacts in Hollywood. And I'm pretty sure that at least one of those 4 people would be able to set me up with a meeting with at least one of those people so I could pitch ideas. And right now, Hollywood is a little bit desperate for IP, especially with the whole streaming wars thing that is going on. So these people are likely to listen. But thinking in terms of possible film and television adaptations is just one way to go. It could be a very profitable way, even if your book doesn't ever get made into a film or television series. If you can get it licensed for film or television, that alone is going to give you some money to, augment whatever you're doing. But film and television isn't the only way to go. There are other ways that you can use the idea of your book as intellectual property and not as a book in itself. For instance, in my last video, I talked all about how to adapt a book using AI into a whole bunch of other different formats. So we want to switch our mindset from thinking about a book as one book to thinking of it as the starting asset that can create many books. And in that video, I'll go into things like translations, young reader adaptations, coloring books. The list is potentially endless. But I also do recommend switching yourself, not just from talking about books, but to other mediums as well. And the good news is some of these mediums can actually act really well as marketing material. For example, I'm currently building a YouTube channel that is going to take my book, my audiobook that I've produced, and create what I call a dramatic slideshow with AI generated images with a little bit of subtle motion added to them using Immersity.ai, and then taking that and putting those videos up on YouTube to see how it does. That's not only transforming my book into something new, but it's also transforming it into a new medium. And it has the advantage of being a potential marketing outlet. YouTube is my favorite marketing outlet, as you can probably tell if you're watching this video. And I would really like to be able to find some really profitable angles for marketing fiction via YouTube, besides just putting your audiobooks on YouTube, which is admittedly a successful thing that people have done. Which means that AI, even though it has made it so publishing words is no longer special, it has also opened a whole lot of doors to transform our book into other IP. Like right now, with the technology we have available to us, you can easily create an animated movie based on your book. It'll take some time because we need to figure out tools that will make the process a little bit more seamless and easy, but it is absolutely doable and decent. The output would be decent using the technology that we have. So we can't think of a book as a single book anymore. It is an intellectual property asset. It can be transformed into many different things that can be used for marketing, but also as new products in and of themselves. And if you can do that, thinking of your book as an asset while also working smarter and harder, you probably have a good chance of surviving in this new AI saturated world that we're entering. And if you want more information like this, like exactly all of the different suggestions that I have to turn one book into many books, go check out this video that I just put up on how you can turn one best-selling book into many, and I will see you in the next video.